This film is brought to you by New York Life and its over 10,000 agents and representatives who offer you quality financial products and services to help you get the most out of life.
In 1987, Tom Landry, the architect of so many championships, began to reconstruct the Dallas Cowboys into a playoff team. The blueprint for victory would radically change both the personality and the personnel of the team. A team of stronger wills and rougher, tougher skills that ran on younger legs. The legs of place kicker Roger Ruzek and punter Mike Saxon. Legs that carried young special teamers on missions of crash and carry. The team was becoming both better and younger, and the display of youth had the game's most versatile running back as its centerpiece. And a set of baby teeth that had bite. The Cowboys grew larger because in a push and shove league, big bodies must bully. Most thought the 7-8 Cowboys were running in place this season. But the foundation of a quick striking attack on both sides of the ball brought an all-out sprint toward tomorrow.
They toss it right to Blunt, run a reverse left to Edwards. He has blockers. Edwards has a first down and more. To the 40, Edwards to the left sideline. Kelvin Edwards takes it all the way home. A 62-yard touchdown reverse.
Two victories over the hard-hitting New York Giants demonstrated the aggressiveness of the Cowboys. Linebackers Mike Hegman, number 58, and Jeff Rohrer, number 50, led a smothering defense that uncovered strategies for the Cowboy attack. Thornton Chandler reached wide. Danny White stood tall. And Gordon Banks stretched out. Roger Ruzek kicked 3 field goals, including the game winner, as the Cowboys defeated the Super Bowl champions 16-14. While the victory was the first link in the chain of reconstruction, the rematch was the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Number 72, Ed Jones, and number 77, Jim Jeffcoat, sacked Phil Simms 6 times and reenacted a drama first staged in 1985.
Lockhart showing blitz, not blitzing. Simms back to throw, blitz from outside, pass tipped, intercepted by Jeffcoat to the 20, 15, Jeffcoat to the 5, touchdown, Jim Jeffcoat! They did it to him again, just like 2 years ago. Ed Jones tipped it, Jim Jeffcoat did it to him again.
The Giants' sweep emphasized the play of veteran defenders and helped shape and define their roles for next season. The accomplishments of Ed Jones are as towering as his nickname. Meeting number 72 in the pocket will be number 54, Randy White, who will rush the passer in 1988 from a variety of positions. Number 77, Jim Jeffcoat, a young veteran defender, punished runners, much like middle linebacker Eugene Lockhart.
Definitely, he had his best year. I mean, he was, to me, on his way to the Pro Bowl. Whether we'd have got it with our record or not, but he would have been entitled to the way he was playing.
Lockhart was a thunderous tackler, and so was safety Bill Bates, number 40. Michael Downs was a young veteran, as were Vince Albritton, number 22, Victor Scott, and the team's leading interceptor, cornerback Everson Walls, number 24. The solid play by these veteran defenders was also reflected by their offensive counterparts. Quarterback Danny White, a gallant old pro, fought through injuries and will play an important role in the blueprint for victory. Number 82, Mike Renfro, reached new highs and new lows in his pursuit of a thrown football. While tight end Doug Cosby has a knack for finding the open spots, versatile Timmy Newsome is often lost among the stars of the Cowboy offense. A valuable receiver, number 30 is a tenacious blocker and a determined runner.
2nd and 7. Dallas at the line 24. White draw play. Newsome, big hole on the left side to the 20, 15, out to the 10. Newsome to the 5. Newsome to the goal line. Touchdown.
But any talk about the running game must begin with Tony Dorsett, the Cowboys' all-time leader and the 4th greatest rusher in NFL history. In 1987, the king of runners passed his scepter to Herschel Walker, and the Prince Royal never broke stride. The game's most versatile offensive force became the first player in NFL history to gain more than 700 yards, both rushing and receiving, in 2 different seasons.
He just has a great uniqueness of power that makes him exceptional. He doesn't have to do much wiggling when he gets out in the secondary to run through people and get loose. And when Herschel moves through the line, he gets out in the secondary, he can run through linebackers as well as defensive backs. He's devastating on defensive backs once he gets out there, but the linebackers bounce off of it. And that's a real unique quality to have.
If there was one moment that captured his special gift and crystallized his importance to the future, it came in overtime against the Patriots.
And White with a handoff. Walker, left tackle, breaking the 45. Midfield, one man to beat. Herschel Walker to the 20. Herschel Walker to the 10. Herschel Walker, touchdown. Cowboys win in overtime. 60 yards for Herschel Walker.
Well, Walker's been saying, give me the football, Brad, and it's going to be hard to argue with that now.
Look at every single Cowboy running across the field to the far corner to mob Herschel Walker, who has scored from 60 yards.
That might be that. I think that's a season saver. I'm convinced that's a season saver, and Brad, you have just seen the future of the Cowboys, and the future looks a whole lot better with that one, doesn't it?
3 games determined the present and also forecast the future of the Cowboys. And ironically, all 3 were losses. The defense landed in the lap and flew in the face of Dan Marino. Steve Puller threw 2 touchdown passes to Timmy Newsom. The Cowboys won many battles on the field, but lost the war to the Miami Dolphins on the scoreboard, 20-14. Against the playoff-bound Vikings, the offense rolled up and down Texas Stadium.
Back to throw, 2 steps over the middle, Renfro, touchdown! Oh my baby, what a catch by Mike Renfro!
3 times the Cowboys rallied from 14-point deficits to tie Minnesota. The hero was Mike Renfro, who caught and fought his way for 3 touchdowns.
White back to throw, has time, now get rid of it, he does get rid of it, touchdown! Mike Renfro! Oh my goodness! I love this game because it makes absolutely no sense.
None, absolutely none.
The game that made no sense became a senseless loss in overtime.
Wilson, handoff, Nelson on a delay, breaks the tackle to the 20, to the 10, still going, touchdown, Nelson, Vikings win.
The team was at the crossroads when they came to RFK Stadium. Another defeat could have sent the team into a demoralizing tailspin. But a heartbreaking loss became a character-building lesson for the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys played poorly and trailed 24-3, then launched a furious second-half rally. 2 touchdowns drew them close in the final quarter.
White back to throw, right side, into the end zone, it's a touchdown to Rod Barksdale. I believe that will be his first Cowboy touchdown, and it's now a big fight breaking out.
Oh, man, everybody's into it now. Boy, I know what, 52, put a cheap shot. Neil Olkowitz just came in, put a forearm into somebody's face, and Danny White chased Olkowitz and dove on top of him.
Right.
Eugene Lockhart
In a suit with a broken leg, out on the field, he wants some.
That doesn't surprise you, does it?
No.
The battling Cowboys lost the game, but gained a full measure of self-respect, pride, and the newfound knowledge that they were a physical team that would back down from no one.
What we did last year was we switched our line from the type of line that we had mostly through the 70s, a little more agile, a little more quick, the pulling type of line. We went to the big guys, and we ended up with, across the board, probably averaging something like 275 to 280, and that puts us in a zone type of blocking scheme, and that means you got to be tough enough to move them off up front and give Herschel Walker a chance to run.
The line dynamited holes in defensive fronts, led by veterans Mark Tuanay, George Lilja, and number 64, Tom Rafferty. A mow-the-man-down blocker was rookie Kevin Gogan, number 66. Other young earth movers were number 68, Crawford Kerr, Jeff Zimmerman, number 61, Nate Newton, and rookie tackle Darrell Smith, number 79.
Now we see that we have a line that is big enough to handle the Redskins, as well as the New York Giants, which is another dominant defensive team. So we feel like with those young guys, if they mature and if they continue to improve, then we'll have a line that we think we can handle the passing game with.
Youth also prevailed in the passing game, with young receivers like Kelvin Martin and Kelvin Edwards.
And he was a very intense player. The thing that you have to do with the receivers most of the time, you have to make them work. He works too hard. I mean, he runs every play full speed. You think ultimately that's the way they ought to play the game, but you cannot play it as a receiver that way. You wear yourself completely out. He can go deep, and he can get there in a hurry.
A quarterback that could get the pass there in a hurry was rookie Kevin Sweeney. But the player who will be counted on to general the Cowboy attack is Steve Pelleur, a strong-armed, hard-to-catch quarterback.
I think we must count on Steve to emerge. Now, this year, he came back in the last 2 games against the Rams and also against the Cardinals, who were both could have beat us and gone into the playoffs. And we were able to beat them, and I think that gave him a lot of confidence. So I think you'll see a different Steve Pelleur as we go into camp this year. We've always been a control type of defensive team, a team that could gap a team and control them through the 70s. Now we need to punish them a little bit more and have more reaction from that standpoint.
The new physical nature of the defense was showcased by several young Cowboys. Number 99, Kevin Brooks, displayed the abilities of a #1 draft choice, and so did Danny Noonan.
Well, I think in Danny Noonan, we're seeing a player that's going to emerge to be a dominant player on the line of scrimmage. A player that is extremely strong, and he has speed. I mean, those are his 2 qualities. He can move people off the line, and I'm talking about the big guys as well as the small guys in front of him.
If pro football was WrestleMania, Danny Noonan was Hulk Hogan. A new tag team at linebacker was number 55, Steve DiOssi, and rookie sensation Ron Burton, number 57.
What we saw in those last couple of games, we saw a player who was a very tough tackler, a guy who could stop a runner dead when he came through the hole. This was encouraging for us. He made some of the great hits for us, which excited everybody.
The youngster that made the most impact was cornerback Ron Francis.
But we think his potential is great because he has probably the greatest closing ability that we've had in a defensive back, even since probably Mel Renfro. He can close so quickly, on a receiver, even when he's out of position. He's a tackler, he's strong, he's got the speed, he's got the quickness. He has unlimited potential.
The limitless potential of the young Cowboys boded well for the blueprint for victory in 1988. And bright hopes for next season were shown by the brilliant beam of 2 season-ending victories. In Los Angeles, the Cowboys crushed the playoff dreams of the Rams. Young defenders Victor Scott, number 22, and Jesse Penn, number 59, swarmed, stuffed, and swiped. On a night when many stars were unfurled, one of the brightest was Steve Pelleur.
Back to throw, 3 steps, pump fake, now rolls out right. Cosby was open, then uncovers Steve. He's there at the 8, at the 5. Touchdown, Cosby.
And a most important play for the Dallas Cowboys as they just continue to amaze in Anaheim.
Victory over the Rams was followed by a sweet end to the season. Not since 1979 had the Dallas Cowboys won their final 2 games. In the St. Louis Cardinals, the Cowboys faced another team on the brink of the playoffs. But the Big Red was separated from its dreams. Cowboy defense came high and low, by ones and twos, and in swarms and packs of tacklers. On a day when every man stood tall, Herschel Walker stood like a skyscraper.
With a draw to Walker, a flag's down, big run to the right, to the 5, Walker with a touchdown. If you missed anything, it's been draw to Walker, draw to Walker, draw to Walker, draw to Walker.
Well, you had the throw to Walker in there.
All that followed the throw to Walker.
Has anybody else even? No one else has touched the ball on this drive, have they?
A draw to Walker, fake draw to Walker, bootleg left.
Great call on 3rd and 5, and that's the play that Steve Ballure can make for you, but everybody in the stadium bought it.
Walker set up one touchdown and scored 2 others in the Cowboys' 21-16 triumph. With a renewed source of optimism, the Cowboys look confidently ahead to the coming season. In 1988, with a firm base of veterans, a solid nucleus of talented young players, and another productive draft, the Dallas Cowboys will be following their blueprint for victory.